Good evening, everybody. So the whole question is about what lightning speed do we want to go at and what does success really mean to us? So scaling success at lightning speed. With that, we'll start the panel. So what I'm going to do is 30-second introduction, if each one of you can give, just a little about your business and how did you get that vision of starting it? So we'll start from right here. Aakriti, with you.
Hello. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I'll start with a brief introduction. I hope I don't take too much time, but I'm the co-founder of House of Chikankari. I started the brand with my mother in 2020. Chikankari is an authentic embroidery art form that comes from Lucknow, for those who don't know. So it's a hand embroidery art form. It's done in villages around Lucknow. And my mom wanted to help an embroiderer she was working with for her personal work, and she had happened to mention the idea. And I really got intrigued by it. I started digging deep into hand embroidery and the types of hand embroideries that were available. Chikankari particularly stuck to me because I saw a lot of gaps. I saw that my grandmom and my mom had a lot of Chikankari garments in their closet, but I had none. So that was the first thing. And the second thing, I'd always heard people say कि चिकनकारी सिर्फ लखनऊ में ही जाकर मिलती है या जब कोई लखनऊ से आएगा तभी मिलेगी. So that just got me thinking, why? You know, what's the problem here? Like, is it not accessible enough? And the supply chain was very unorganized. Every state would have its own local chikankari store. Like you would have one store in a market, local market in Delhi, in Bombay you would have one. But there was actually no pan-India brand that stood for the authenticity. And that would actually make the art form accessible with the quality and authenticity guarantee. So that's how our journey started. Today we're 4 years into the journey, and we're also now extending the promise of our brand to other crafts. We've started Kashmiri last year, Kashmiri Ari embroidery. So, but yeah, Chikankari still remains the core of the business.
Thanks, Aakriti. Yeah. I come from Lucknow, and it took a Delhi girl to take the brand all India. So hats off to you. Thank you. Yes, over to you, Saumya.
My name is Saumya Mishra, and I'm the founder of Avataar Skincare. At Avataar, we provide skin solutions at home, which can help enable urban women to achieve the skin of their dreams. So the solutions that we provide are mostly laser-based. So these are, imagine things like permanent hair reduction, treatments for acne, pigmentation, hair fall, anti-aging, so on and so forth. We are on a mission to make world-class, most effective treatments available, accessible, and affordable for everyone. So that's the mission. And the story behind my entrepreneurial journey is like everybody else. I grew up in a small town. I come from Bhopal, from a middle-class family. And like any other middle-class family, the dream that was shown to me is that you get into IIT, IIM, land a fantastic corporate job, achieve your dreams which were limited to, oh, can I have a foreign travel? Can I travel in a business class? Can I eat in a 5-star restaurant? Can I own a decent enough car? So that was the world until, you keep checking milestone after milestone. I joined, so post my MBA from IIM Bangalore, I joined Bain & Company as a management consultant, and year one, all those milestones got ticked off. And then, next 3-4 years, I kept enjoying those, the typical corporate rat race, you're running from one promotion to another, one hike to another. Until it all started to seem very meaningless, because everything that I wanted to achieve out of life seemed to be achieved, and then we wanted to do something more. I had a history of very, very bad skin. And again, coming from a middle-class background, again, my dad said, no matter what you've studied, if you want to get married to a good guy, you need to look better. And that's how my journey of good or bad, but that was the truth that was told to me. And just when I completed my MBA, I started going clinics to clinic in Bangalore and Bhopal to get treatment for my acne. So I could have never imagined that I could ever look like this. I could be so confident. I could step out without makeup, and thanks to the dermatologists who treated me, that was another dream that was fulfilled in a matter of 3-4 months, but I had to spend a lot of money to get there. And when I kind of married the two struggles that, struggle of having a bad skin in the past and now wanting to do something which is, just more than drawing a salary, was when the idea of Avataar was born.
Thanks so much, Saumya. We've got the youngest person here. Oh. So if you can share your story as well. I actually thought you had come with somebody till I heard that you've already been 5 years in the startup. So please do share your story.
Hi everyone, my name is Anshita and I'm the founder of Fix My Curls. So we're a curly and wavy hair care brand. And I started 5 years ago. I was 19. I dropped out of college. My mother was a previous panelist in the last panel. So she's sitting there. Her name is Shelly. Honestly, started with her help. She made me realize that I could create products for my hair type, which is very, very curly naturally. And I knew that there was a huge gap in India. So this is 5 years ago. Today, we have a community of like 1.2 people on our own D2C website. We're on 16 marketplaces. You can get us on Blinkit and Zepto. And we're just trying to help people embrace their natural hair. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Anshita. Over to you, Kriti. So if you can share your story.
Hi, my name is Kriti. I'm the founder of the label called Doodleage.
Started our journey about 8 years back, and I am a trained fashion designer.
And back in the day, fashion as an industry was going through a massive change. Production was becoming a lot more sustainable, but consumer in India was becoming a lot more unsustainable. So we started our journey to sort of bridge that gap that Indian consumer doesn't have to go all the way from being sustainable to then unsustainable and then coming back to sustainability. So we started working with consumer education, upcycling factory wastages, looking at recycled alternatives and how to create that. And now we're constantly working to bring circularity or make circularity a reality as to what happens to post-consumer waste, how do we collect it, once it's collected, what will happen to it, and keep growing this, providing alternatives to fast fashion. And as a designer, I know the amount of, the impact that fashion has both on people who create clothing and money never reaches them, and the impact on environment, because there's so much chemical and so much resource that is extracted to create fashion. So my journey as a designer was just to understand this impact, the scale of this impact, and what I can do as an individual designer to bring that change in India. And then we work to make the brand global, reach different markets through our brand, and focus both on Indian and international market.
Thanks so much, Kriti. My youngster, who's a 15-year-old, refuses to wear a pair of jeans because so much water is taken just to produce a pair of jeans.
And I think the younger generation, like there are two kinds of people as well. Either they're really well aware and they're making the change with individual buying habits, or they're very away from it. So we're trying to bridge that conversation as well.
Super. And we'll hear more about it. Thank you so much. Ananya, over to you.
Okay, so hi, I'm Ananya. I'm the founder of Type Beauty. Essentially, what we do is we make skincare-infused makeup that's customized for your specific skin type, which essentially means that you can create your own targeted makeup routine that will also heal your skin at the same time. We started about 3 years ago now, almost, and it's been a super cool journey. If you see pink and orange everywhere, that's usually us. But yeah, that's what we're all about. We're all about giving products that are made for you that you can choose for yourself.
And Ananya, how did you think about this idea? Why skincare?
Okay, so I'm actually a chemist, and when I was actually just getting into university, my father came up to me and he was like, what are you going to do with a chemistry degree? Like, you have to have some kind of idea, just do business. So my reaction to that was, well, I can do something in pharma, I can do something in skincare, and then out of a love of skincare and makeup, that's where Type was born, because I saw that like in skincare, you see so many serums where you can kind of mix and match and create your own kind of unique skincare routine. So we thought, why not do the exact same thing, but with your makeup?
Super. Thank you so much. And if you see each one of the stories, and if I were to weave it in one single thread, it all comes from personal stories or personal commitment or something that they actually went through in their lives. And that's absolutely amazing that you converted it into an opportunity and then into a business. So my next question is to you about the vision. What do you mean by success? How do you want to light speed it? How do you see success? And what's your vision for that?
So, I mean, we're 4 years into our journey now, and honestly, I think every day I'm still learning what the definition of success is going to be for me. When you start, or why I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I've been saying it to my mother since I was 13 that I want to do business. And honestly, at that time, probably for all the wrong reasons, thinking in my head that, when I have my business, I don't have to listen to anyone, I'll get all the freedom that I want in the world, but it's the exact opposite of what it is. So as a kid, I said it for all those reasons, but when we actually started, I think I think had that kind of financial support from my family where monetary was not the first goal. I had food on my table, I had a good home. So like I could go out there and chase purpose before I could chase money. I think that comes from a place of privilege. So I think that kind of made the definition of success for me more towards my team. Like I started getting happiness from like whether my team is happy at work or like when I see them smiling. We started a lot with our operations team first. So senior management now is in our team. So my mom's purpose became, keeping them happy, making sure they're like, learning and upskilling themselves while at the job. So that became a very strong purpose for us. Artisans, again, we work with, our product is completely handcrafted. So a lot of the vision for long term also comes from actually doing better on ground work for us. We may not be there today 100%, but that's where we put the milestones. Of course, from a business perspective, all this is only possible if we are doing better numbers because we have to finally put in the money to do better impact. But yeah, I mean, I think true purpose for us has become more team-led, and it has also happened as the team has grown. And as we have seen that impact affecting someone's life very directly, and how the families that are attached with us or the employees that who started working with us are still with us for 4 years. And when orders go low more than me and my mother, it affects them. We're maintaining our calm, but they're coming and they're like, is everything okay? Hum aur kya kar sakte hain? So I think it's those little things that...
But what about a number? Do you have a number in mind? You kind of...
So right now we've just raised a seed round. We've done a Shark Tank round 2 years back where Aman and Piyush both invested. We've done a seed round of a small size. And of course, the next 2 years for us is to aim to be a 100 crore brand. That's why we've raised the seed. Because all the other things that are a part of the definition of success, nothing can't be done. Like it can't be done without numbers, without us actually increasing the customer impact. And if we want to help the artisans more, we need to eventually increase the demand for their product and sell it to more people. So everything is related. But yeah, I mean, the next 2 to 3 years for us are going to be towards a 100 crore brand. And we're currently selling through our website and marketplaces. But yeah, I think for me personally, success is not monetary at the moment. After like the journey I've been through, it comes more from that I'm able to, give like retain and give growth to the team that I have. I'm able to continuously increase the orders for my artisans because I feel that sort of happiness is like I get more stressed when I feel that I have to probably give less orders to one karigar in a month. कि मेरा नहीं अगर sale बढ़ रहा है तो उसको growth कैसे मिलेगी? That is where my stress comes from. And it can be different for everyone. I think that's what it is for me.
Do you want to go next in terms of your vision and what does success mean to you?
Sure. Our vision is to be able to reach out to every Indian urban women to communicate that any and every kind of aesthetic problem that you're having is solvable very easily. There is so much technology that has developed now that you can get the looks of your dreams. So, what is difficult actually is to be a good person, but looking good is something which is solvable. And when they don't know what to do to approach that technology, that's what Avataar is here for. So, we are creating a category. I was in South Korea in December, and everybody there has just got the perfect face, the perfect hair, the perfect body. Some of my friends say that what is it about European and Western women that everybody looks pretty? And it's not the shade. It's just that the education on modern cosmetology services is so well penetrated that people's daily problem is not, oh, I'm feeling so underconfident because of the way I look. There's so much more to life, and the problem of looking can be just given to us.
Sure. Super. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anshita, I have a different question for you. Being so young and starting a startup, do you feel age does come in the way, or do you have to fight it every time? And do you feel that there's some biases when you start so young? Or does it give you an advantage because, you're starting young and it gives you that runway to do more things?
This is difficult because I think it's amazing to be 19 and starting up, because I have the benefit of having 4 to 5 years to just learn, and then by the time I'm 25, I've already built a sizable business, and now I get to have fun with it, right? But a lot of people at 19 are obviously studying. I was very lucky that my parents let me drop out. But obviously I had to show them some revenue. It wasn't just ki kar lo jo karna hai. But I have to say that yes, age is an issue when you're hiring, right? Because as a 20-year-old female solo founder, when you're hiring your accountant, they're not taking you very seriously. It just sort of is the way it is, but you can get past that by convincing them that you do know what you're doing and you know your business. And even people that are doubting you will eventually come around. But I think you just have to know that the bias is there. And if you're going to be 20 versus, I think it would have helped had I been 30. Maybe I would have also had perspective. But I was very literally fresh off the boat of nothing. I was just learning on the job. So, I mean, I think age helped because also I knew social media really, really well. I understood the target market that I was selling to, and I didn't have a problem selling to them at all. Like, that was probably the easiest part for me. The difficult stuff was hiring, definitely. So I think that's where I struggled.
But did it help not assuming anything and just going with the flow? And
Yeah. Because, I mean, also I hadn't worked in corporate, and I honestly just, I think I had a very like free mind, and like I was like, oh, I'll run this how I think is the right way. But I think it would have helped also had I maybe been in corporate, right? I would have known a little bit more. But again, you live and you learn, and I'm happy I started when I was 19 because now like I said, I get to have fun.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. What a lovely story right there. So what I'm going to ask you is more around any challenge that you have faced and maybe used that and pivoted your model. We were talking a little about it outside as well. So if you can share that with the audience in terms of how that challenge became actually an opportunity and you pivoted your way.
See, we started talking about sustainability, like I said, when consumer in India was just about becoming unsustainable in their practices. Online fashion was just about coming. Fast fashion brands hadn't seen its growth in India. And we started with post-consumer waste to start with, where there was so much stigma attached to wearing somebody else's clothes, or even if it was deconstructed, cleaned, and then created something new. And we knew very quickly in, I think, first 2 years of our business that post-consumer is very, very tough to sell in India. And even today, thrifting in India is only limited to a very small segment of newer generation. So circularity, sustainability in itself is super challenging, or was super challenging to start with. There was no supply chain to begin with. You couldn't go to the market to find alternative material at that point. As we grew, we worked with each stakeholder to sort of create new material from a scratch, to look at alternatives, to bring new alternatives into India, to work with pilots that are happening currently for collecting post-consumer waste and then sending that back to recycling, to connect recycling chains and post-consumer collection systems, which India is one of the third largest buyers or economies that are buying fashion, but we still don't have a post-consumer waste management system for clothing. So things like for building or scaling a sustainable fashion brand, there were supply chain issues. You personally massively wanted to work towards creating a better lifestyle for artisans that are still working on ground and still earning very minimum wages at this point. At 60, at 60 at the retirement ages, they get about 35,000, and they have to sort of sustain themselves, their families. Today, if you ask any karigar, they wouldn't want their kids to become artisans. And now hiring challenges for craftsmen, tailors, all of this is beginning to trickle down and affect businesses and fashion massively as well. And that karigari, and I know Aakriti will agree with me that the karigari that used to be in Chikankari to now has massively lost over a period of time. So all of these are ground level challenges, and while working with sustainability, all of this was extremely real. So we had to pivot multiple times to figure out how to sell sustainability to Indian consumer where they already know अपसाइकलिंग तो सभी करते हैं, सबके घरों में होता है, हमारी मम्मी भी तो ऐसे साड़ी से कुर्ते बनाती थी. So their immediate reaction is that to make it high fashion, to make it aspirational was a massive challenge for us, but we worked our way through it.
Super, thanks so much. And there's a little bit of murmur in the audience, rightly so, Shalini. I think Mrs. Parsi just walked in, and that's why. And I loved one of her statements, and that's why I'm going to come to you, Ananya, on that, which was that I don't want to take any tension. It doesn't matter what others are saying about me because I want to care about my skin. And from skin and type beauty, I'm going to move to you with a question that in a market which is so crowded and with so many products, how did you find your innovation and value, proposition in terms of skincare and beauty and the products that you're creating?
Well, honestly, you're so right. The market is incredibly crowded. I feel like we have the legacy brands and we have newer age brands. I like to think that the reason we stand out as a brand is because our entire value proposition is different from what anyone else is doing. So even though skincare infused makeup might be a concept that's already there in the market, the reason we're called type is because everything comes in your type. So if you have like a foundation, it'll come in 4 different formulas for 4 different skin types and concerns. The idea is that the entire type experience is tailored to the consumer, so that we can be just your type. And I think that is what tends to work for us. Because you can go in there and say like, hey, this one type product is super viral, but you can also explore the rest of our ecosystem and say, hey, all of these things could potentially work for me along with this one viral product that I saw on Instagram. And I think that is how we've managed to stand out as a brand. Just because we stay true to our roots, there's really skincare in there. And also like a really intense focus on quality. Every formula is tested on me, even if it may not be for my skin type.
Super. So intense focus on quality, and you focused on few products and done a little bit of personalization and customization. Great stories out there. We've got 3 minutes left, and we are going to finish on time. So 30 seconds to each one of you to tell us what you would tell your younger self if you were to start today.
I think you go first this time.
Saumya, all over to you. You've been a consultant. You need to go in first.
I would say I would have started much earlier. I so wish that I was I was as young as you were when I had started out, because, that race towards, oh, I'm already 35 and there's so much more to do. So I would start earlier. Second is I would invest disproportionately higher in getting the right team. I think when we start off, we try to cut our hiring budget or people budget. If I would have over-invested then and cut down on something else, I think we would have been at 3x of where we are today.
Super. Thank you.
I think I would tell 8-year-old me.
8-year-old, yes.
No, yeah. So 8 to 10-year-old me, that there is space for you in the market. You will be deemed beautiful one day, and you will someday not have to walk into a salon and be looked at like, why do you look like this? Because
Wow,
that's
lovely.
what I've experienced for most of my life, is they never knew what to do with my hair. And I want to change that for every single generation that comes after mine, including my own, because I'm young. But yeah, I think honestly, like that's what I tell my younger self, that you can make that space and it will exist at some point. Because I used to really think ki, I'm just going to have to shave my head off at this point, because there were no
Wow.
solutions at all. And trust me, curly hair was a taboo. So smoothing your hair, having even the littlest bit of frizz meant you have hair that is not tamed. It's not
Right.
professional. You can't go to school looking like this,
Right.
right? So I never got to open my hair in school either. And I wish I had gotten to do that, but hopefully younger girls in the future and boys can.
And you're creating that. So thank you
Yes,
so
yeah.
much for that. Kriti, how about you? What would you tell your younger self? How would you start the business? Maybe do some things which would be very different than what you've done in your journey.
I think I spent a lot of time like double timing my business. So I was in business and I was working for like parallelly for a very long time to be able to fund the work that I was doing, and that was from a place of being scared to go all into a business. So I think taking early on financial advices, financial mentorship is really important. Get an understanding of how to fund your business, how long do you need to have some working capital for before you go into a business, doing your right market research. I think those are really important things that, besides passion, that you need before you start your business. And I think when at least I started very young in not so social media kind of age, all of this wasn't really very easily available information. When you see a lot more entrepreneurs on their journey and doing it yourself as well, you realize that these were things that were important to learn, and they're not taught in colleges, they're not taught in schools, and most of our parents weren't, at least my family wasn't from business, so it was like a tough space to break in.
Super, thank you. And 60% of the women do talk about financial literacy.
Yeah.
Had they taken that up earlier, it would have been very different for their businesses. So thank you for sharing that. Ananya and Aakriti, we'll just quickly wrap up. We are seeing the red screen right there. So quick 30 seconds, what you would have told yourself.
Okay, so I think I would have told younger me not to be so unsure. I feel like there was a space, I started like literally 6 months after I graduated university. And in those 6 months, I was so like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Am I right? Am I wrong? Until my dad literally told me, you're working on it on the side anyway, just go ahead and start now. So I think I would have told the younger me not to be so unsure, and I would have told her to be more confident in what she's doing, because she's able to build something that hopefully will last.
Super. I'm sure it will last, and all the very best to you. 30 seconds, really quick.
So I think business is not linear. In fact, life is not linear. It was my biggest, I think, lesson. And I wish I understood it sooner, because you feel that it'll just be on the same pace or this pace, but it's always this. So I think I could have saved a lot of my anxiety-filled days if I accepted it earlier. And I think really business, foundational, financial concepts, I had to pay very high cost to learn those. I think because I was a marketing major, I did my master's in marketing, so finance was something I never paid attention to. I learned it along the job as I was running and building the business, but would definitely advise people to get in depth if that's not your forte, because I'd made a lot of expensive mistakes.
Super. With that, we'll end this session, and thank you so much for hearing us out. It's about personalization, customization, learning finance, and starting early on. Thank you so much for this power-packed session.